Can anyone really pull off Jennifer Lopez's signature sexy serve? It's a bold question because when we talk about J.Lo, we're talking about someone who practically helped define modern pop star sensuality. For decades, she has blended confidence, glamour, athleticism, and star power into a brand that feels uniquely hers. The real question might not be whether someone can copy it, but whether that kind of presence can even be replicated. Jennifer Lopez has built a career on reinvention. From dancer to actress, from rom-com queen to global pop icon, from red carpet risk-taker to Super Bowl headliner, she has consistently found ways to command attention. Her sexy persona has never just been about outfits or choreography. It has always been about control. Control of the stage, control of the camera, control of the narrative. But lately, whenever she steps out to remind the world of that signature sultry energy, the public conversation seems to drift in a different direction. Instead of simply applauding the look, the performance, or the pose, audiences dissect. They zoom in, they speculate, they compare, they analyze. And that shift says just as much about today's culture as it does about J.Lo. Let's start with the visual element because image has always been central to her brand. Lopez understands lighting, angles, styling, and presentation at a master level. When she posts a glamorous photo shoot on social media, it's rarely accidental. The hair, the wardrobe, the pose, the expression, it's all deliberate. Yet in the age of high-definition screens and digital editing awareness, fans often approach celebrity images with skepticism. Instead of simply reacting with admiration, many viewers immediately question authenticity. Is the image retouched? Is the lighting hiding something? Is this filtered? Is this realistic? That hyper-awareness changes the conversation. A photo intended to showcase confidence can quickly turn into a debate about editing standards or beauty expectations. This isn't unique to Jennifer Lopez. It's part of a broader cultural shift where audiences feel empowered to critique presentation choices in real time. Social media has transformed passive viewers into active commentators. Then there's performance. Lopez has always been known for high-energy choreography. She's not just a singer who walks across a stage, she's a full-scale performer. Her shows are athletic. They demand stamina, precision, and physical conditioning. When she steps onto a festival stage or awards show platform in a bold, body-forward outfit, she's leaning into the persona that made her iconic. But modern audiences often watch with a different lens. Instead of focusing solely on the spectacle, they analyze movement, breath control, and endurance. If there's even a hint of fatigue, it becomes part of the narrative. Again, this reflects changing audience behavior. We live in an era where every moment is replayed, clipped, slowed down, and reposted. Micro-moments become headlines. Another layer in this discussion is age. Jennifer Lopez has been in the spotlight for over 25 years. That kind of longevity is rare. But with longevity comes comparison. She's often measured not just against her peers, but against younger artists entering the industry. When she embraces the same bold fashion choices she wore decades ago, some celebrate her consistency and confidence. Others frame it as an attempt to compete. That framing reveals more about societal expectations than about Lopez herself. There is a persistent cultural double standard around aging, especially for women in entertainment. Youth is often positioned as the default standard of desirability. So when a seasoned performer continues to own her sensuality, it can challenge preconceived ideas. That challenge sometimes makes audiences uncomfortable, and discomfort often manifests as critique. Fashion is another recurring focal point. Lopez has never shied away from dramatic silhouettes, plunging necklines, daring cutouts, or shimmering stage costumes. Her style has always leaned toward bold glamour. She understands the power of a red carpet moment. But in today's digital environment, even the smallest accessory can become headline material. A missing ring, a hairstyle change, a subtle shift in styling. Instead of simply absorbing the aesthetic, fans look for clues about relationships, personal life, or potential hidden meanings. A gown meant to spark conversation about design can end up fueling speculation about something entirely different. This phenomenon highlights the intersection between celebrity branding and public curiosity. For someone as globally recognized as Jennifer Lopez, every public appearance carries layers of interpretation. She's not just wearing a dress, she's presenting a story, whether intentional or not. What's fascinating is that Lopez's sexy serve has always been about self-assurance. In her early career, that confidence felt groundbreaking. She embodied a mix of athletic strength and glamorous femininity that wasn't always centered in mainstream pop culture at the time. Today, however, audiences are more accustomed to bold imagery. The shock factor has diminished because social media is saturated with curated glamour shots. What once felt daring now competes with a constant stream of similar visuals. That doesn't mean her presence has weakened. It means the landscape has changed. There's also the question of effort versus effortlessness. The most compelling celebrity moments often feel natural, even when they're meticulously planned. When audiences sense visible effort whether in styling, posing, or performance, they sometimes interpret it as trying too hard. But here's the reality: high-level performance always requires effort. The illusion of effortlessness is part of the craft. Jennifer Lopez has built her reputation on discipline. She trains intensely. She rehearses extensively. She manages multiple ventures simultaneously. That level of dedication doesn't happen by accident. Yet public discourse sometimes rewards the illusion of spontaneity over the acknowledgement of hard work. Another aspect worth examining is nostalgia. Many fans attach their memories to specific eras of an artist's career. For some, Lopez's early 2000s music videos represent her peak sexy phase. For others, her film roles defined her glamour. When she revisits elements of that persona today, audiences inevitably compare the present to their memory of the past. Nostalgia can amplify admiration, but it can also heighten scrutiny. The conversation often shifts from "does she look amazing" to "is this the same as before?" That subtle difference changes the tone entirely. It's also important to recognize that celebrity identity is never static. Lopez is not the same woman she was at 30, nor should she be. Growth alters expression. Confidence evolves. Style matures even if it still leans bold. When she embraces a sultry aesthetic now, it carries decades of experience behind it. That depth can either enhance the narrative or complicate it, depending on the viewer's perspective. Media amplification plays a major role here as well. A handful of critical comments can quickly be framed as a widespread backlash. A few viral memes can shape the perceived tone of public reaction, but online commentary is rarely monolithic. For every critique, there are supporters praising her confidence, dedication, and enduring star power. The duality of reaction admiration alongside analysis reflects the complexity of modern fandom. Fans feel both invested and entitled to commentary. They celebrate and critique simultaneously. So, can someone else pull off Jennifer Lopez's signature sexy serve? Technically, anyone can wear a daring outfit. Anyone can rehearse choreography. Anyone can pose for a glamorous shoot. But what makes Lopez's version distinct is the combination of history, discipline, cultural impact, and self-belief. Her brand of sensuality is intertwined with her story. It's rooted in her journey from background dancer to global icon. It's shaped by her resilience in an industry that constantly shifts standards. It's reinforced by decades of visibility. That layered context is what makes her presence unique. The current mixed reactions don't necessarily signal failure. They signal visibility. When you remain in the spotlight long enough, every move becomes magnified. There's also a broader conversation happening about authenticity. Audiences crave realness. They respond to vulnerability and relatability. Hyper-polished glamour can sometimes feel distant in comparison. If anything, the shift in reaction may reflect changing audience values more than changing performance quality. Jennifer Lopez has never positioned herself as understated. Her persona thrives on spectacle. The stage lights, the dramatic costumes, the confident poses, they are part of the package. In a world where trends cycle quickly and attention spans shorten, maintaining that larger-than-life energy is an accomplishment in itself. It's also worth acknowledging the business dimension. Lopez is not just performing for applause. She's sustaining a brand that includes music, film, fashion, beauty ventures, and more. Every appearance reinforces that ecosystem. Bold visuals keep her culturally relevant. They spark discussion. And in the digital age, discussion equals visibility. Speculation about her personal life, commentary on styling choices, debates about performance stamina. These narratives may overshadow the intended sexy focus, but they also keep her name circulating. Longevity in entertainment often requires adaptability. Lopez has shown time and again that she can pivot musically, stylistically, professionally. If audience focus continues to shift, she may adjust her presentation accordingly, or she may double down on the aesthetic that built her legacy. Either approach would align with her history of strategic reinvention. At the core of it all is confidence. Whether fans praise or critique, Lopez consistently projects self-assurance. That consistency may be the most defining element of her sexy serve. Confidence doesn't mean universal approval. It means showing up fully despite mixed reactions. Public figures operate in a feedback loop. They release content. Audiences respond. Narratives form. Adjustments happen. Jennifer Lopez has been navigating that loop for decades. Few artists sustain that level of exposure without retreating. So when people ask whether her attempts to serve sexy are landing the same way they once did, the answer may be nuanced. The delivery remains polished. The reaction has evolved. And perhaps that evolution is inevitable. Cultural standards shift. Audience expectations change. Digital platforms amplify every detail. Yet through it all, Lopez continues to step onto stages, red carpets, and photo sets with unmistakable presence. Pulling off her signature style isn't about copying outfits or poses. It's about embodying discipline, resilience, and self-belief over time. That's harder to imitate than any single look. In the end, the conversation surrounding her recent appearances reveals as much about modern celebrity culture as it does about Jennifer Lopez herself. We live in an era of constant analysis. Glamour is examined. Performance is dissected. Personal life is speculated upon. Within that environment, maintaining a bold, sensual persona requires not just aesthetics, but endurance. Jennifer Lopez has built a career on endurance. Whether audiences focus on the intended vibe or get distracted by peripheral details, she remains in motion, still performing, still posting, still appearing, still evolving. And maybe that's the real headline. Not whether she can still serve sexy, but whether anyone else could sustain that level of presence for as long as she has. That's a different kind of power entirely. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.